Well, thank you for coming. I want to thank Amanda Wright Lane, the great-grandniece of the Wright Brothers, and I want to thank President and CEO of Dayton History, Brady Kress, who is also with us. As people know, we have a very important election that's proceeding in our community, and that is to determine who's going to represent us in a statue in the United States Capitol. Every state gets 2 statues that represent the history and the leadership of their state. We have an opportunity to select somebody, or in this instance, perhaps a pair of individuals to represent us. So it's really important that our community turn out and look to ways that we can support the Wright Brothers and support placing them in the United States Capitol to represent Ohio. I was here a month ago voting for the Wright Brothers, and I have returned with the assistance of my staff. We have gone around collecting ballots for the statue competition, and we are going to deliver today over 2,400 ballots to Dayton History. We wanted to get the message out to people as to come to the Carillon Park and vote for the Wright Brothers to be placed within the U.S. Capitol. I know a number of people throughout the community are trying to get out the information as to how to do this. If people would like to contact my office, we can get with people who want to participate in getting the word out and trying to collect ballots at their churches, at their schools, at their community clubs. We have 1 week to go, so we're in the final stretches of this campaign. I want to encourage everyone to participate. And with that, I want to turn it over to Amanda.
Thank you, Mike. I just wanted to reiterate some of the reasons why we think the Wright Brothers are the appropriate candidates for our nation's capital, and not the least of which is when the Wright Brothers are standing in our nation's capital, people from around the world will immediately have world recognition of the brothers. They are known internationally, but what people I think don't always realize is when their gaze goes down lower and they see that letters OHIO, they will immediately identify with the Wright Brothers, with Ohio, and our fantastic heritage of aviation aerospace and the future of aviation aerospace. When I spoke to the state committee that was reviewing all the candidates this past spring, I talked about some of the things that happened in Dayton with the Wright Brothers, and so many of our constituents know it, but it never hurts to remind them that they designed and built the world's first airplane in Dayton, Ohio, and all of its prototypes, that they built and tested the world's first military airplane in Dayton, Ohio, that from Dayton, Ohio, they made the first commercial flight carrying cargo to Columbus, Ohio, that in Dayton, they built the first factory dedicated to the business of building flying machines. In Dayton, Uncle Orv buried his mother, his father, his sister, and his brothers just a few miles from where we're standing this morning. And in Dayton, my family buried Uncle Orv just a few miles from where we're standing. But from Dayton, the brothers conducted a business that became international, and yet every night, if it was of their choice, they chose to take their dinner in Dayton, Ohio. So they were Buckeyes through and through, and they were always proud of where they came from, and I hope Ohio is proud of them as well. And lastly, I just wanted to say that when I think about all the accomplishments of the 10 folks, 11 folks that are up for this honor, I have to think back to, for hundreds of years, all the folks on this earth, there's one thing we had in common across our earth, and that was we could all gaze at the same moon every night. But the Wright Brothers' technology allowed a man to go to the moon and gaze back on all of us. So I'm not sure there are very many other things that measure up to that kind of achievement as far as changing humankind. So I also wanted to thank Brady Kress and Dayton History, especially this past weekend. They had 12,000 visitors here, and Brady talked to each one personally about signing up to vote for the Wright Brothers. I want to thank him for that. And I really want to thank Congressman Turner for his efforts in this for the community. It's been really embarrassing for me to wrestle 8, 9, and 10-year-olds to the ground to make them vote. So the votes you're turning in today take some of the pressure off the Wright family. We really appreciate it, and I wish the best of luck to all the candidates, but I have to say, I hope in the end that we get our famous duo there. Thank you, Congressman.
Very good. And with that, we have the privilege of being able to present to Dayton History over 2,400 ballots. There's a week to go, so people can get their ballot in also. Please come down to the Carillon Park and make certain that your voice is heard for the Wright Brothers.